Class Lycopsida, order Selaginellales, family Selaginellaceae, genus Selaginella. The genus Selaginella, it is commonly called spike moss. Selaginella is a large genus comprising 700 species. Majority of them occur in tropical rainforest. Some species are terrestrial, some are epiphyte, and some xerophytes. The xerophytic species are cespitous, that is, branches roll inwards during dry condition and spread out in the presence of moisture. These plants are commonly known as resurrection plant. Structure of the sporophyte. The genus Selaginella is divided into two genera on the basis of general structures of the plant body. They are homeophyllum or heterophyllum. In homeophyllum forms, the stem are usually erect, dichotomously branched, producing isomorphic leaves. In heterophyllum forms, the stem is usually dorsiventral, prostrate, producing dimorphic leaves and monopodial branching. The leaves are dimorphic, arranged in four rows, and these are there are two rows of smaller leaves and two rows of larger leaves, always occur in pairs. The two leaves of each pair are unequal in size. The larger leaves are alternate with the smaller leaves. When the sporophyte matures, it produces compact club-shaped spore-producing organ called strobilus. At its terminal branches, these are not having dimorphic leaves. The leaves are simple, ranging from lanceolate, ovate in shape. Usually, they are thin and delicate, but xerophytic forms are thick and rigid. In all the species, each leaf produces from upper surface close to its base and smaller membranous found tongue-like structure, which are outgrowths called ligule. The ligule develops and matures when leaf is still young and dries up at maturity of leaves. It has broad basal foot called glassopodium. Glassopodium. It has glassopodium inserted in a depression called ligular pit. The upper portion of the ligule is not known. It has been suggested by many that it may be a water secreting or absorbing organ. Some are of the opinion that it secretes mucilage uh, substance and keeps the stem, apex, and young leaves moist. Thus, it prevents drying out of the young tender organs of the sporophyte. Rhizophore. You can see the structure of the rhizophore. These are curious branches which arise at each branching of the stem. These are elongate, colorless, leafless, cylindrical structures. They grow downwards. They grow downwards. They grow downwards into the ground, positively geotropic, and develop tufts of adventitious roots at its tip. This provides additional root supply and gives mechanical support to the weak stem. There are various views regarding the morphology of the rhizophore. Morphologists regarded that it resembled the root in being positively geotropic and leafless. These also have some anatomical organization as that of root. They differ from root in having no root cap, no root hairs, and being exogenous origin. They resemble the stem. They resemble the stem uh, in the following points. These are exogenous in origin. They arise. They arise from the meristematic region of the stem. It has been demonstrated that the rhizophores can be developed into leafy shoot under experimental conditions. According to Bower, the rhizophore is an organ of intermediate mature and it is a new organ. Hence, it regarded as an organ of sui generis. Sui generis. Neither stem nor root but specialized organ bearing root. Like other pteridophytes in Selaginella, root system is adventitious. They arise directly from the stem and restricted to the tips of the rhizophore. They are delicate, dichotomously branched. The reproductive structure aggregated at the apices of the branches to form a characteristic strobilus. Characteristic strobilus. Transverse section of the stem, that is stem anatomy, it shows a great variation in character. There is epidermis, cortex, stele. Epidermis is the outermost layer. It is composed of single layer of compactly arranged thin-walled cells without stomata. Cortex, there is great variation in composition of the cortex. It may be composed of thin-walled parenchymatous cells without any intercellular space in the species with delicate stem. In most species, it may be partially sclerenchymatous forming hypodermis. In xerophytic species, the sclerenchyma cells are thick, lignified endodermis. Endodermis is the innermost layer of the cortex, which is single layered to begin with. Later, during development, cells separate and begin to elongate in radial direction. They stretch across the intercellular spaces, forming characteristic trabeculae. In the beginning, they are unicellular. Later, they become filamentous and show the characteristic endodermal thickenings on their radial wall. Stele. The stele shows diversity not only with the different species but in different parts of the plant. Usually, the stem shows single stele, but in some species, the stem has more than one independent stele. Such a type of stele is said to be polystele. The number of stele varies from 2 to 16. Each stele is surrounded by its own endodermis and pericycle. Each stele is surrounded by a single layer of larger cells, the pericycle. The center of the stele is occupied by diarch stem. The stem, that is diarch xylem. Xylem made up of only tracheids. Around the xylem, there are layer of phloem. The stele of Selaginella stem is polystelic protostele. Polystelic protostele. It consists of many steles. And it polystelic condition. It is a polystelic condition. Rhizophore. The TS of rhizophore shows outer epiblemma, middle cortex, and inner stele. Inner stele. The epidermis is single layered, compactly arranged, parenchymatous cells. It is followed by hypodermis, sclerenchymatous, cortex consists of innermost layer endodermis. The stele is protostele with monarch xylem. Monarch xylem is with the one protoxylem point. Reproduction. Selaginella reproduce by three methods: vegetative method, asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction. Vegetative reproduction takes place by progressive death and decay of the older parts of the plant. It also brought about by formation of tubers. These are underground perinating organs which germinate on the onset of favorable condition. Asexual reproduction, it takes place by means of spores which are produced within the sporangia. The sporangia born on the sporophylls The sporophylls aggregate and form a strobilus, which is usually tapering towards the apex. You can see in the diagram, which is green in color, you can see the strobilus there. The size of the strobilus varies. They are cylindrical, quadrangular, present at the apex of the main stem or on the lateral branches. Selaginella is heterosporous. These appear to be sort of specialization with respect to the distribution. With respect to the distribution. The Selaginella is heterosporous. They consist of two types of sporangium, megasporangium and microsporangium. In most of the species, the strobilus bear both megasporophyll and microsporophyll, but in some species, the strobili consists of only one type of sporophylls, either only megasporophylls or microsporophyll. When the strobilus has both kinds of sporophyll, then the position on the axis of the strobilus differ in different species. In some species, the strobilus is made up of many microsporophyll with single megasporophyll at the base, or there may be two vertical rows of sporophylls, one side bearing only microsporophylls and the other side only megasporophylls. In most of the species, the megasporophylls are located regularly in lower position and the microsporophyll in the upper position. In some, there is intermediate mingling of micro and megasporophylls. All the sporophylls possess a ligule and are arranged spirally on the axis, but the spiral is so condensed that leaves appear to be opposite to each other in pairs in four distinct vertical rows. The microsporophyll produces microspores inside the microsporangium, and the megasporophyll produces megaspores inside the megasporangium. Let us not worry about the developmental details of the mega and microsporangium. Each sporophyll bears a single stalked sporangium on its adaxial side. The sporangia are of two types, megasporangia and microsporangia. The megasporangium contains a few or four megaspores, and the latter contain numerous, and the microsporangium contains numerous microspores. The mega and microsporangia are more or less identical in structure in having a stalk and the capsule. The jacket of the capsule consists of two layers of cells. The outer layer has columnar chlorophyllous cells and the inner layer has thin walled cells. Sometimes thin tapetal layer is seen persisting in mature sporangium. There is color difference between microsporangia and megasporangia at their maturity. The microsporangium is usually red, yellow, brown in color, whereas the megasporangium is yellow, orange, or chalky white in color. The occurrence of two dissimilar sizes spores in same species is known as heterospory. In the order of evolution, the Selaginella plant shows both heterospory and seed habit, which is a very significant in the evolution of pteridophytes. The microspores are detached in tetrahedral in shape. Microspores are tetrahedral in shape, minute brownish in color, surrounded by two layers, that is male gametophyte. The microspores divided into two unequal size. The prothallel cell doesn't divide but represent the vegetative tissue of the gametophyte. The large antheridial initial divides in various planes, giving rise to jacket initials and primary androgonial cells. At this stage, 13-celled gametophyte is dispersed. The primary androgonial cell, by successive division, result in androcytes, which metamorphoses into biflagellate anthozoa. At this stage, the jacket initials and prothallel cell disintegrate. As a result, male gametophyte of Selaginella has mass of anthrozooids. It is the smallest gametophyte in pteridophytes with vegetative tissue reduced to one cell. Female gametophyte. Megaspore represent the first cell of male gametophyte which also germinates within the sporangium. The germinating megaspore produces free nuclei within. This is followed by formation of vacuole in the center which pushes the nuclei towards peripheral region. Meanwhile, the wall formation begins from the periphery and projects towards the center and encroaches the vacuole. It produces a tissue, 2-3 cells in thickness, separated from remaining portion of the gametophyte by diaphragm, which separates the apical cellular tissue from non-cellular spore cavity whose cytoplasm contain numerous nuclei. The formation of the cell wall below the diaphragm begins at the time when the first archegonia appear. Ultimately, the whole spore filled with cellular tissue. These cells of the gametophyte below the diaphragm are much larger than the apical cellular cushion. The apical cellular cushion or generative region consists of small, regularly arranged cells. These are filled with food material, that is albuminous material, oil and starch. This region provides nourishment to the developing embryo. The megaspore are shed from the megasporangia at this stage. On reaching the suitable substratum, they absorb water, develop rhizoids, and expose tissue, splitting the exospore along the triradiate ridge. The mature archegonium consisting of a short neck composed of two layers of four cells each. The axial row consists of single neck canal cell and a venter canal cell. The venter canal cell disintegrate and become mucilaginous. It absorbs water, creating free passage for anthozoa to enter. Thus, fertilization occurs. You can see the product of fertilization is zygote. The product of fertilization is zygote. Zygote is diploid in nature. It is the first cell of the sporophytic generation. It secretes a wall and grows into an embryo. The first division of zygote is transverse, result in an upper epibasal and lower hypobasal cell, or epibasal cell is also known as suspensor cell. Lower cell is embryonic cell. The elongation of the suspensor pushes the developing embryo down. The embryonal cell divides vertically into two equal cells. The next division is also vertical at right angles to the first, resulting in quadrant. One of the cells of the quadrant divide by an oblique wall, differentiating then an apical cell of embryonic shoot. The remaining three cells together with the sister cell of apical cell divide transversely to form two tiers of four cells. In one of the lower quadrant, the cell division are more active and fruit is differentiated, and it acts as a ostoриum receiving nutritive substance from the gametophyte. The upper two cells function as apical cells of the cotyledon. Thus, young sporophyte is formed. After sporophyte, you can see the diagrammatic representation of the life cycle of the Selaginella. You can see the young plant. After that, strobalus is formed, megaspore, microspore, and megaspore, tetrad, megaspore, then microspore, anthrozooid, fertilization occur, megasporophyte, microsporophyte, then anthrozooid, egg cell, fuses, zygote, young sporophyte, young plant. So this is a diagrammatic representation of the Selaginella plant. You can see both haploid and diploid generation alternates. So thus alternation of generation exists in Selaginella also. Thank you.